We're at the ET Auto Retail Forum 2026, and right now I have with me Mr. Vinkesh Gulati, who is the MD of United Automobiles and the chairperson of ASDC.
Yeah, hi.
Mr. Gulati, thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
First, I want to talk to you about the overall scenario in the automotive space right now in the retail ecosystem. So, 2025, especially the last quarter of the calendar year, it was a great time for the industry. The GST 2.0 kicked in, and that really gave a fillip to the overall volumes in the industry. So, your take on that? How was that year? For the overall industry, and how do you see the momentum getting sustained in this year?
So thanks for having me first. Awesome event today and really enlightening for me also. See, 2025 at the start wasn't a good year for auto, I feel. So Jan to September we were struggling. No doubt there were some OEM who were doing great, but as an auto industry, it was not a very great period what went through. But the GST 2.0 or the jig of the GST changed everything. Uh, Even with not a very major price decrease or a major correction, the sentiments became positive. The products which were not selling also, those started selling. And there were some OEMs who went out of the way to even reduce or give special schemes post additional to the GST cut. And that actually revived the auto industry. And the last 3 months post this GST rejig actually changed the whole year's position. So whereas we were at a very nominal growth pre-GST, overall we came into something, depending on different category, some high single digit or a low double digit. So overall it's a good year what has gone by. And because this was the last quarter, the momentum is still continuing. And there are a lot of good launches which currently I feel 2026 will see by the OEMs, which will continue to push. So there is still a spillover of the GST positivity in the market. And additionally, I feel with all those new models launch, we'll see similar kind of growth what we have seen last year in 2026 too.
Right. So, are you content with what the government has offered already in the GST 2.0 way, or do you still have something more to ask from the government because we are just around the budget for this year?
See, very frankly, the government has done its bit. Now it's our point to do it. Uh, if I talk specifically as a auto, I feel the specific need to still promote EV is still needed from the government. The GST changes what we have seen has supported the auto on the whole. But majorly what has happened with the GST reduction in the ICE products and non-EV products didn't get that reduction. So the price gap has reduced, which is now being a deterrent for the faster adoption of EV. So I feel somewhere government will have to pitch in on the EV side. So there are a lot of irregularities in EV. So there are some states who are giving RTO registration road tax free. There are some which are not. And the major part is even those are the center party where from when we talk about the message what we get from the Indian government is supporting EV, whereas the state governments which are controlled by them are not offering the similar kind of discounts what is needed to EV adoption. So I feel government has to come forward and get this anomalies removed. So if you buy an EV, irrespective of what state you are in, the registration tax should be zero because it's double. One, it will support in the environment where as a country we have committed to go to net zero in the coming time. And second, the customer who is paying more because of this technology being new, the battery being imported, gets a support from the government. I'll not say that the full price becomes zero with this support, but at least it helps him to make a decision which will help country on the whole also. Right. So I feel the EV push is still needed. Direct or indirect, that government can think of because they are working on PLI also. Right. But somewhere this road tax has to be nil all across India to support the retail side.
Right. So that is one big recommendation that you're suggesting for the government. But if you could also give us some ground reality around EVs. You're a prominent dealer in multiple locations. So what is the customer sentiment in these markets right now? Are there really impediments in terms of customer really being on the fence even right now, and they are still not really taking that big bet and jump towards EVs?
I feel yes. See, I'll tell you, initially when EV was launched, there were a lot of myths going around. And the effect, or you can say the still in the back of the mindset that there is an issue of range anxiety, there is an issue of fire in the batteries and all those things. This is still in the mindset of a customer. And in India, vehicle buying is not a commercial decision. It's a very emotional decision. It's a family decision. And nobody wants to risk this. And in a lifetime, they buy, if I talk about the cars, they buy one or two times in their full lifetime. So that decision is not very easy for them to take. Right. So all those, the past messages or myths, what we have seen is still affecting the mindset of the customer to adapt the EV. That's a problem. A lot of things have changed. There are a lot of products which are now giving 400 plus range, and there is no such problem. But I feel overall, it's more to do with sharing good informations about EV. Right. So, like if you talk about an ICE, if you drive a car, you go once in 4 days or once in a week to a petrol pump to charge. But if you have an EV which you are charging every night at your home, there is no issue of this talking about once a week or some. And you normally in India, on an average, if leave apart the commercial side, leave apart the people who are going out of their city to work, our average monthly movement is what, 5,000 to 7,000 kilometers, which means if you divide it is what, daily 50 kilometers or a max of 100, which any EV as of today can do, even if it has a 30 kilowatt battery, that can also do it. So the myth of the range and the issue of all this is over, but still the mindset haven't changed. So I feel as an industry, as a media house, as a government, anybody who is involved in this auto fraternity has to take onus on themselves to actually try to give the information, educate people, and make them move out of that myth mindset about the risk in EVs. Right. No doubt, still one big myth is still a problem, which is a resale value. Right. And defining a resale value, you at least need 5 years, 7 years. Then only the vehicles will come on the rack, and then the selling will happen and you get the rates. Right. Till that time, that myth is, I feel, which is unsolvable. But leave apart that, overall EV adoption can happen. We all have a duty to educate customers that they should go ahead. Right. Because EV still makes sense if you are driving in a city or out, depending upon the charges. The charges overall has increased now. There are a lot of charges. I agree we can't compare the number of charging stations to petrol pumps, but if you need it, it is there and you can manage it. There are a lot fast chargers coming in. There are many OEMs who are putting in 180 kilowatt chargers on the highway. Right. So things are moving in the right direction. We all have to get together and educate customers to take that plunge.
Right. And coming to a broader question, Mr. Gulati, this year, or in fact last year, 2025, we saw some constraints like the rare earth crisis, for example, and also something which is on the anvil, which we can already foresee, is things like Cafe 3. So going forward, what sort of tailwinds, headwinds do you see in the industry seeing, and from a retail perspective, how do you see that impact your business?
See, I feel we are all blessed to be in the right time in the auto. India story is of growth as of now, but still India will see regular growth. I feel these are all opportunities in the current situation. These diversities actually help us around. So semiconductor issue came in. We saw many companies coming in, manufacturing unit for semiconductor. Rare earth issue came in. We saw some companies shifting from rare earth motors to some other motors. I feel this all needs going further. Mm-hmm. And this will improve India's reliability on itself, not based on all the abroad things and all that. So overall, no doubt it gives a small, you can say, a bump which, right. But Indian consumerism is there to stay. On an annual year, I don't see any problem going ahead. where we see a lower than CAGR 5% plus things. So auto industry is there to stay. The growth is there. We'll see some bumps a month or 2 or 6 months with all those things, but overall situation is in the right direction as of today.
Right. Just lastly, Mr. Gulati, on the changing skill sets in the industry, you're also the chairperson of ASDC. So how do you see the need for skilling evolve as we just discussed about, the growing evolution and the growing penetration of EVs in the country? And not just EVs, you're also looking at hybrids and CNG and other biofuel technologies coming in as well.
See, very frankly, what has happened till now was we had the education system has been that you study till prep till graduation and then you start working. That mindset has to change. The skilling is important because the learning curve which has ended once you graduated, in the current scenario it has to continue. So you learnt about how an ICE engine was repaired or ICE vehicle was sold. Today EV, tomorrow hybrid, day after hydrogen. I don't know what else will come in there in future. If your learning curve is stopped, you will become obsolete. You will not become important to the today's scenario. So what at ASDC we are trying to make the change. One is we are trying to excite the school going children towards auto. Because today if your kid is studying, he'll think about मैं doctor बनूंगा, मैं engineer बनूंगा. Nobody thinks of कि I'll join the auto business as a career. So we are trying to do that. At ASDC we have launched, this is the 4th year where we are doing auto Olympiad, like science and maths Olympiad is done, where we excite them to join auto. We have also tied up with AICT so that these engineering colleges and those management colleges have an extra course or where about mechatronics, about AI in auto and all those things, where they get excited towards it. So what from ASDC we are doing within the education front is making a solid case for them to take auto as a future career. Additionally, we are trying to reskill the current team of auto components people, manufacturers, and even the dealership, which is a huge workforce which we have to do. Right. So overall, we are trying to tell them that it's not an end. Your learning curve has to continue. If you have to first unskill yourself and then reskill, because you can't sell an EV car or repair an EV car as you are doing an ICE car, because a wide difference. Because in ICE, you talk about what is regen, he'll not able to understand also. A vehicle, when you remove leg from the accelerator and vehicle is slowing down, you'll say there's some problem in the clutch or brake or anything else. So whereas this is a good feature for an AV. So a lot of things they have to learn to learn. Right. And that is where we are trying, and we are approaching all the dealers and component manufacturers that they have to be part of it. It's not that there is an education vertical in India and you are the manufacturing or the dealer. You have to be part of that vertical. If you train your own people, one, it improves the people's loyalty. Yeah. Your attrition goes down. Third, and the biggest, your cost per employee goes down because you have trained him. He'll not think of joining some other place. Right. He is 10th class or 12th class and you are getting diploma done or BVOC done within the system. He'll not apply somewhere else. Right. If he has already done a graduation or a sales course or something, he'll join you, work with you a year or two, and then he'll try to find other jobs. And by becoming the trainer and then employing and giving training while employing, you are actually insulated by all those vices. Right. So why not do it themselves? And ASDC is supporting them.
Right. Very noble cause, Mr. Gulati, and wish you all the best for your endeavors.
Thank you very much.